Hello everybody, my name is Ash and I'm bringing you a Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer guide. Today's class is going to be the Krogan Mercenary. The build I have set up for this Krogan Mercenary is pretty much a Krogan Berserker from the Outlaw faction. Pretty much focused on flat cannons and melee damage. But we cheat a little and we use the flamethrower a little bit because we have pity points in there and you know, why not? The flamethrower is a good option, especially when you stun a crowd of enemies. You finish them off with a flamethrower. Good dot damage, good fun. This build guide is pretty much gold focused. I've tried this class on platinum and it went horribly wrong. Not to say it's impossible, but I had trouble using this class because it's a very close quarter class without any real debuff. Not much survivability, despite having Fortify. Yeah, damage reduction in this game isn't as reliable, or doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like damage resistance actually works in this game. I know this. It's supposed to be like 100 damage resistance equals half damage taken, but it's I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense half the time. Krogan Vanguard with Fortify and Bastion, still takes, still kind of could have its barrier slapped off by an anointed after charge, so we're gonna get into the build, and here we are. I've got the Ruzag equipped because, why not? It's the weapon that the Krogan Outlaw Berserkers actually wield, but they don't actually shoot it, so it doesn't really matter what weapon you use. I just pick it there to, for style and to roleplay, because I'm a fucking nerd. Anyway, as you can see here, this is the setup we got here. This is probably not the best setup you could go for, even though this is a build guide and I've already opened the video up with this is not the best build you could go for. But this is the build that I enjoy using, and I have a lot of fun playing it on gold. It's a lot of fun, a lot of damage output, and a lot of crowd control, and a lot of chaos. Very reminiscent of the Batarian Soldier from Mass Effect 3's co-op. In the sense that you've got fire, dot damage, and crowd control. So first off, rage. We're going to level this up all the way to 6 as soon as we get this guy, level him up, or cards, whichever order you get this guy unlocked in. Anyway, melee, melee, and melee, because melee damage is amazing. More melee damage is amazing, especially when you've got a momentum going, and more easier attained rage is also a lot better. Inspirational doesn't. I have no use for this. I don't think it's that good. Extra health, damage resistance, like pass. This one. Rage duration lasts longer, it's more attainable, and you can get it by getting damaged as well, so you can't complain. It's actually a really good perk. It's pretty much an essential perk for any Krogan that takes rage into 6 points. Like, the inspirational is just skippable, and if you're not going for the rank 6, you can probably get away with just having 4 points in rage and skipping these two. These two, I'm not too fussed by. Unstoppable, like I said, I don't think damage resistance works that well in this game compared to Mass Effect 3. It kind of just, it's just a number on a piece of paper, But whatever. Flat cannon, also our main attack. Area of force damage, stunning, and shredder. Now, I go with area of force. You can stun like small enemies, but stunning pretty much ups that stun that that you have on enemies and gives it a duration. And not only that, but you can add dot damage. So not only can you do direct damage by shooting people with this thing, but you can keep them in one spot and have them bleed like in that one spot. It's amazing. Coupled that with the dot damage of flamethrower, then you're just gonna ruin crowds of people. Like, you can see, like, spawns of enemies. Like, enemies will spawn in at the start of wave, and you can shoot a couple of these down and throw some flamethrower in there, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good because the flat cannon is really good against shields. Not too hot against armor, but you know we got the flamethrower for that, and you've got ammo types and weapons for armor, so it's not too bad. Any class that has flat cannon, I suggest you use the flat cannon. It's a definitely one of my favorite powers in the game. It's a grenade based class, so we'll be using the ammo boxes quite a bit. We can hold 7, no 6. We can hold 6, or is it 7? I think 7 thanks to this passive here. After that, I like to put 4 points into Fortify for mobility and a bit of defense. The Krogan Berserkers on the Outlaw faction are armored, and they're fast, so I think having something like this is very handy. You got, what is this, 40, 50 damage resistance. We could go up to 70, but I'm not feeling it. Doesn't really work. Mobility, being able to sprint at normal speed is great. Your standard movement speed is reduced, but like I said, you'll be running most of the time with this class anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Power armor, like I said, you could probably skip this. You could probably stop at 4, but I went with power armor because the melee damage bonus, 30%. You've got to keep stacking that melee damage. You want to be able to one-shot red bars on just by headbutting them on gold. Stuff like that is too good to pass up. You could go with the explosive purge just for a bit extra crowd control, but I've already got the flat cannon for that, so the explosive purge does not seem necessary. And then the next thing we'll level up is munitions training. Now this is the one. Now I'll go with power damage and melee because, well, we're using flat cannon and melee, so this is no brainer. And also we get an extra grenade out of it, so there you go. 8% weapon damage. I think that's pathetic and wimpy for a munitions training or a passive. I think if it was, I mean, I don't know. It's a bit underwhelming that compared to, like, if you compare the two, like, even if you're using a weapon class, I think the power damage and melee bonuses that you get might be better, unless you don't have any decent powers. I don't know. It's weird. And then we'll go for the gun boost melee. Like I said, we're not using weapons that much, but the this one, it's more of a shoot, headbutt, shoot. Synergizes with itself. You could probably get away with stopping at 4 and putting the rank 5 into flamethrower, but or maybe a rank 6 into fortify. But like I said, it's all up to you. I went for the more melee damage, and that's pretty much how I went with it. Now, if you want to be more of a team player, you could skip out on flamethrower and go with rank 6 and with the sustained fire. But I don't shoot very often, and I'm usually using like heavy shotguns, so sustained fire isn't really going to be useful. So I gave it a pass. Now the remainder of my points, since I've got I went with 6, 6, 5, and then 5. I've got enough to put flamethrower up to rank 4, so I just went with straight up damage. Honestly, this needs to be at rank 6 for it to be a good team play thing. Radius or damage over time. I mean, any of these is good, but since you're going to be in the thick of it, you're going to be wanting to go with duration and damage over time. If for whatever reason you decide to let them live. But honestly, like, if you're going to be at close range, none of these really matter because you're going to be leaving everything dead in your wake. There'll be no survivors in this gameplay, or in the gameplays that I'm spliced in. Anyway, anti-armor or reduced damage from. I mean, like I said, they're not going to be alive long enough to even attack you, so blinding heat is pointless. Anti-armor. I mean, the thing is, like, flamethrower is good against armor without this perk. Like, you can kill fast enough without the anti-armor. So, and with the stunning capabilities of the flat cannon, I mean, you've got at base here like 330 damage per second for 5 seconds, and then you combine that with the 100 damage per second for 8 seconds here. I mean, for 5 seconds, if you use flat cannon and then immediately use flamethrower on unarmored or unshielded targets, you're giving them like 430 damage per second for 5 seconds. That's ridiculous. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. There is, like, it's, you know, using flat cannon in combination with flamethrower is a good way to just clear out a load of enemies. You know, be it anointed or pariahs if they don't use their bloody backlash. They're just gonna, you know, you're gonna rip through their shields, you're gonna set them all on fire, and then you can just walk away. Alternatively, you can just run in there, flat cannon, and then headbutt everything as well. You know, headbutting in this game is ridiculous, mainly because there is a weird hitbox effect with rage, or not rage, but like the Krogan headbutt has a weird hitbox. Like, I've had like times where I've headbutted like 3 enemies all at the same time with one headbutt. Like, that is ridiculous. That is one headbutt for one rage. So, like, you can have enemies attacking you from behind, enemies attacking you from the front, and you can still, you know, headbutt them. You do one headbutt, and it's ridiculous. So, the melee damage, like, this is definitely a melee build. Is it the best melee build? I don't know. I mean, the Vanguard has its perks with its charge, but honestly, I think I prefer this class purely because it's more fun and you've got more utilities. The Vanguard is more charge, headbutt, charge. This is like, alright, charge, headbutt, charge, purging, explosion, whatever the fuck it's called, explosive purge. Whereas this is like, you know, you've got a bit of everything. You've got, you know, guns, you've got flat cannon, you've got flamethrower. You know, bit of variety, and it's a lot more fun in my opinion to blow shit up and set things on fire than to just headbutt. You know, headbutting is there as a, you know what, I've got my combat power medal. It's time to move on and do some melee kill medals, you know, stuff like that. Now, the kind of items you want to use on this class, obviously, shotgun or pistols, because they have the bayonet attachments, you know, ups that melee damage, and, you know, hell, you know, if you wanted, you know, you could shoot something. I went with the Ruzag to, you know, pretty much emulate the appearance, but anything's good. The Shorty is amazing. The Riga, obviously, is amazing. Disciple's pretty good, and so's the Piranha. You know, there's plenty of decent shotguns, plenty of decent pistols as well. Hurricane, obviously, Equalizer, Eagle's okay, and the Hornet is also amazing. In terms of equipment, there's a lot of equipment you can choose from. You know, you can go with grenade capacity, you know, hydraulic joints. This one's actually a mental focuser. It might be a good choice as well, because you've got the tech power and the combat power that you'll be making a lot of use of. So you got two attacks right here. You know, 25% power damage. Grenade capacity +3. Obviously, that's gonna give you more flat cannons to, you know, fire out. I like the Survivor mod. I mean, look at that. It's 20% shields, 20% combat power damage, something like that is nothing to scoff at. Shock Trooper mod, if you're not too asked about melee, but you've got a, you know, flat cannon and a shotgun, you know. Juggernaut Shield's also very good, you know, if you're going to be a melee build. And the Berserker package, I mean, that kind of just speaks volumes. You know, if you're not going to be using flat cannon, but you got a shotgun, you know, you can pretty much use the class, the package that is named after the class that you're kind of trying to emulate. And then you got armored compartments, which is also pretty good, but it's only power cell increased by 1, you know, and slight spare ammo capacity increase, so it's nothing too impressive. But yeah, it's plenty to choose from. But like I said, survival loadout, Juggernaut Shield, and the mental focuser is probably my top picks for this build. And depending on what you pick as equipment, I'd say that should affect your choices for boosters. So let's say you didn't choose equipment that boosts your melee damage. Well, go for a strength enhancer. If you chose something that didn't go for capacity, get capacity. If you chose something that didn't go with combat power damage, go for combat power damage. honestly, the only thing I'd say you can pretty much ignore is the tech power amps. It's not necessary. You do enough damage without the amps, you know, and the universal amps, fucking hell, they are so shit. Look at that, 15% on everything. Good lord. I mean, yeah, maybe you could stack that with the mental focuser. You can get, you know, total of 40% there. Not too bad if you use a gold one, but yeah, and defensive, you know, that's always an option if you're playing on platinum, but honestly, I wouldn't play this class on platinum. So yeah, really, so yeah, you got pretty much free survival, free equipments to choose from, and I'd say free decent boosters to choose from. It's all dependent on what boost equipment you pick to decide what boost you get, and a lot of the gameplay that you've seen on screen is me using variants of this stuff. You know, it's not a consistent thing. You know, some clips I'm using the survival loadout, some clips I'm using the Juggernaut shield. You know, it's all varied, and hell, you could just stack them all up. You know, you'd use the Juggernaut shield with strength enhancer if you want to go pure melee, or survival loadout with, you know, with thing. And then there's also like combat power damage item that I don't actually have yet because I don't know why. Enhanced munitions. I should have that by now. Why isn't it rolled around to me yet? I should have some of these, but I haven't got them yet. That's really annoying. Anyway, now the weaknesses of this class is its mobility. It's not as mobile as most classes because it's a Krogan. It's a bit slower, especially with the jetpacks. You're not going to hover in the air as long. You're not going to dodge as far either. Not only that, it's kind of reliant on fortify because since you're slow, you kind of want to have that bulk on you. But you know, sometimes you've got. I mean, even so, fortify doesn't work. Isn't like, you know, the ace in the hole. You're gonna have to use first aid kits, and I burn through first aid kits a lot. You know, hopefully, you know, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and sometimes they work, but then they don't really heal me enough. You kind of just like go instantly. You know, it's like I never use them. But since this is more of a suicide guy, like he'll just run into the crowds and just bombard everything. Like he's basically there to be the He's not a vanguard class, but he is the vanguard of any unit. Like he'll be the first in a fight, and he'll fucking murder everything in sight. With that, it means he's usually going to be the one who dies the first. So you know, but that might be down to player skill. Like I can be a bit reckless with this guy sometimes, and you know, anyone can be. But you know, it is what it is. You know, you can only you know, sometimes it's just the way it is. You know, since he's a melee class, he is susceptible to getting sync killed, which kind of sucks. But you can't get perma killed usually. You know, I've been perma killed even after the updates. More often than not, it's supposed to be like, oh, if you've got low health, you get perma killed, which that's bullshit. I've survived like with low health, and I've been perma killed with max with like most of my health, so it's kind of weird. I will say another weakness of this guy is the Remnant. Remnant are probably the hardest to fight because half the observers, they fly, they shoot lasers. Even with unless you've got good aim, like flat cannon, you know, mid-air enemies is, you know, pretty hard in my opinion. Obviously you can't melee them, so you might have to end up using your gun. The observers aren't too bad. Oh, no, the nullifiers aren't too bad. It's the just the observers and the destroyers that can be a problem, especially with the fact that you can't melee the destroyers. But the flat cannon can rip through the shields pretty quickly, and if you know, shoot them dead center, you can do damage to both turrets at the same time. So there's that redeeming factor. But in terms of melee, like, you're not gonna have a good time with the Remnant. However, I will say the easiest class to fight might be the Ket, because most of them are shielded. You can just shoot a bloody flat cannon into them, and then headbutt them, and that's it. Like the anointed, you know, flat cannon will stop them from shooting most of the time. Don't try that shit on platinum. Something I find about the flat cannon's stunning ability is it works very consistently on gold against anointed when they're shooting their sonheads at people, but on platinum they don't give a fuck about half of the time. Like it's one of them where it's like, oh shit, there's a bloody anointed shooting at me. I better use my flat cannon and stun it so I can get out of there and survive. And they didn't get stunned, and I'm dead. Cool. Thanks, platinum. But gold, you're golden. No pun intended. But yeah, on gold, you can stun them, get out of situations. Stunning is the best in this game. It's absolutely amazing. Like, you know, you can stop your teammates from getting stomped. You can stop yourself from getting shot at. There's been situations where, like, I've had literally no health and I didn't want to use a first aid kit. So, you know, there'll be an enemy that's about to shoot me. I'll shoot a flat cannon. They're stunned. You know, timing is key though, because sometimes, you know, you can shoot it. You can shoot the flat cannon. It'll leave your gun, but then they'll shoot their gun, and it'll be one of them where you kill each other at the same time. Dogs, you know, Aldis or Wraiths, if they come up close, you can also stun them and get out of there. You know, it's good for like very close. I mean, the entire purpose of a flat cannon is the crowd control. Like, I can't stress that enough. It's crowd control is amazing. Outlaw is also a very easy faction to fight against. Against other Berserkers, you're gonna... Again, the stunning is a bit 50-50. Like, I don't know if they can consistently get stunned whilst they're enraged, but they can definitely get stunned sometimes. Like, I've seen they can get stunned, but I don't know how consistent it is. Sorry, but fact is, you can still use a flat cannon. You can use your flamethrower, and you know, usually that's enough to kill them. Throw a headbutt in there for style, whatever. You know, that. Perfectly fine. Very easy to take out armored enemies. You know, with this class, you know, you can stun anything that's human sized. So, you know, even though they're armored, you know, the anarchists, the saboteurs, and the agents, they're gonna get stunned by your flat cannon. You know, regardless of them being fully armored. You know, it doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant. You just stun them, flame them, leave them dead. That's it. Each faction is, you know, those are the 3 factions, and like I said, if I had to rank them from easiest to hardest with this class, I'd say it'd be Ket, Outlaw, and then Remnant. But honestly, like, the difference between difficulty between the 3 of them isn't that grand. It's just you'd probably want the Remnant least. All right, well, that's my build guide for this class, the Krogan Mercenary, you know, aka the Outlaw Berserker. I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't usually do build guides, so this is my first one, I should say. Kind of weird doing it. It's a lot different to my Meet the videos. You know, I'm trying to do a different thing here, but I don't know how often I'll do it, and I don't know if I'll keep doing it, because let's face it, this game is is pretty much dead once all the new characters are released and all the new weapons are released, and then there's no more updates. No more updates. Thanks, BioWare. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave feedback and leave suggestions of what classes you want to see in the future. You know, I won't mind doing classes that people don't usually do. You know, I don't want to be the guy, you know, who makes the you know, the obvious fucking Asari Lance build, you know, which I personally don't like. But you know, so many class build guides on the YouTube, and not many Krogans, or not many there's like certain builds that just don't get much love. So if you guys have any suggestions or any feedback for the series that I just started, which is just this video so far, leave it in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.